Welcome to the beginning of the podcast. Mike has to leave at 8:30. It's 7:12, so we're going to talk twice as fast as normal.
Or you can just speed up your podcast.
Or you can just
slow it down.
Slow it down?
0.5 speed,
Yeah,
it'll be
0.
2.5 hours.
But Mike, you said you listen to them in what, 3 times speed?
Two times speed for podcasts. That's as high as you can go.
Would you go higher if you could?
I do. For audiobooks, I go 2.5. But it also depends on the speed of the reader, too.
Why do you do that? Just so it's faster?
Yeah, I just got used to it. Like, eventually, I found the speed changer. And then I went to like 1.5 speed and I got used to that. And then I went to 2 speed and I got used to that. Now, when I listen to a podcast on 1 time speed, it just sounds like they're talking in slow motion and I can't handle it.
Radio stations will do that, right? They'll speed up songs. Like they'll play songs a little faster than normal.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but some radio stations you'll hear the song at normal speed, and then other ones they speed it up.
Could be that they're trying to beat match them so that they're actually being like a DJ.
I don't know.
So if a song is like 80 beats per minute, they'll try to get the next song at 80 beats per minute.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think they're probably doing it so they can put more commercials in and say they still played songs.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
But I am a conspiracy theorist.
Follow the money.
So I always follow the money, baby. Always follow the money. I had some topic to talk about, and now I fucking.
Do my lips look like super red?
No.
Yeah, a little bit. They do.
I don't know what's going on with me today.
That's good for the listeners. Mike has.
So Mike's wearing lipstick for this episode.
Yeah. This goes on YouTube.
When this gets there, is not panning out. Got the lipstick on. I spent the afternoon planning express routes to get to my job site that don't involve not road closed roads, but half load roads. So calling around, seeing what types of roads I could use to get to my job that's 20 minutes out of town. And there's been a ton of MTO officers around the last couple of days. Thought about maybe stopping to talk to one of them. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Maybe if I do it in my wife's car, not necessarily my truck.
What are they doing? Just sitting around looking for trucks?
Oh, they're sitting around looking for everybody. They're stopped on the half load roads and people, little dump trailers getting pulled over and the whole shebang. I don't even know if I can pick up my trucks from their safety to bring them back to the yard because they don't have a sticker, like a valid sticker, right?
Plate sticker?
Yeah, plate sticker. So I don't know. I feel like they probably ticket you for that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because the next stop, it has to go in for a fucking emissions test,
which
is another money grab.
We have a mobile emissions guy. He comes.
We do too, but you got to clump the trucks together. You got to get like 6 trucks, and then they'll go and check them all, and then they'll go to the next place and do their clump of trucks, right? But for one, like your truck's waiting there a week or whatever. So,
yeah, we usually have him come. He even comes for one truck though. He comes to the yard and then he does it in his Dodge Caravan with his sniffer that he feeds into the stack.
Do you think that's akin to compaction test guys?
Oh yeah,
is emissions test guys?
I think that those career choices are very similar, except compaction test guys always drive a 10-year-old Toyota Corolla.
Do the emissions guys wear sweatpants too with the tight ankles?
So Cody normally deals with emission test guy because it's in our yard. So I haven't actually encountered emissions test guy myself, but I've heard he's a good guy. He's got a Dodge Caravan. He makes shit happen. What's funny is there's a bunch of trucks in our yard from the guy who owns the yard, and he was getting one of his emissions tested, but it wasn't from our emissions test guy, but that guy was also in his Dodge Caravan and looked very similar, but it was a different guy. So I was like, they do mobile emissions testing people and compaction testing people are very similar. They're nomadic. Nomadic people.
Nomadic lifestyle.
But they're sort of like the Sherpas of the like the nomadic
Sherpas of the landscape
the
career.
nomadic Sherpa of the landscape industry is out checking compaction and doing emissions testing. What you need is a guy who has the ability to do both in the same vehicle. That would be wild times if you could have the emission test guy, and I mean they're probably cousins, so it wouldn't be that hard to make a combo vehicle.
Yeah.
Yellow sticker, plate sticker, and emissions test is like one of the times that I realized that it is like fucking impossible to do business in Ontario.
Oh yeah.
And now it's like plate sticker, emissions test, yellow sticker, track every speck of dirt in the back of your truck, where it came from, where it went, and who hauled it. Like, I had a buddy call me because he had an incident with that, and he needed advice. And so I was like sending him all the stuff, and he's like, "This is fucking nuts." I said, "Oh yeah, bro, it's super stupid. Like, even if you're hauling a dump trailer's worth of dirt, they will ask you where it came from, where it's going. Like, you're supposed to track that. Every load." And I was like, "This fucking." He's like, So he called. I talked to him about it yesterday. He called me this morning. He was like, "This is fucking crazy." And I was like, "I know. I spent a week dealing with this shit, man." It makes you want to like just say, "Fuck it. I'm just gonna run and hope for the best."
Move to Freed America.
And whenever they bust me enough, I'll just shut her down.
I think freedom's slowly moving up here. I got a news feed notification about a bald eagle's nest, our first one in Toronto.
No way.
So slowly,
coincidentally enough, it's right on
here.
I thought you were
patio.
What's that?
It's on PK's patio.
Oh.
His outdoor patio in downtown Toronto.
I noticed that on the rainy, cold Saturday, Mike did not show up at the crane lift.
That's correct. I did not. Yeah.
He looked outside and he said, "I'm soft as fuck. I can't go out there in the rain. I'm so fucking soft. I can't take it."
Fair weather landscaper.
He did not show up.
The truth of the matter is I slept in. I woke up at 9. I looked at your stories and I saw the last bag being craned up. And I thought, damn, I missed it. And then I started following along to your stories as you posted them. And there was more than just bags being lifted up there.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of...
I didn't even realize.
13. So this weekend, Mike, starting at 9:00, we are going to be lifting up skids of granite pavers.
Okay.
So that should be fun. Because the skids are like from India and they rotted in Arntz's yard for a year because of the many misconstrued things that happened with this job.
Nice.
And so the skids are falling apart.
Sweet.
So tomorrow we're going to spend the day trying to rebuild the skids so that we can safely lift them 3 stories onto the patio.
So I was going to ask you, do I need to show up with a hard hat, a safety vest, and steel toes, or am I good?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, well, if you want to go up on the patio, you do.
Okay. Because I didn't see hard hats, so I was wondering if I needed my hard hat.
We all have them.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you own a hard hat, Mike?
Yeah, of course I do.
Well, residentially, we don't make the guys wear them, obviously.
But
legally, you should have
legally
it.
You need to have them. Yeah.
Oh yeah. On site every day, even in residential. Yeah.
I give them when I did have employees. I gave them it so it was always in their trunk of their cars, and they had like a safety package that it was always on them.
So if if the ministry shows up, they'll ask to see everyone's hard hat. They might not give you a hard time about wearing it, but they will ask to see it. So we keep them in. I also, with our guys, I tell them they have to have a hard hat available every day because they could come in and do residential one day and they could be on a job site the next. So don't leave it in some truck. Make sure it's with you. Make sure it's moving around with you.
No, I agree. That's great company policy, but for some reason, my guys cannot grasp that. Oh, I don't know where my hard hat is. Oh, it's in this truck. We're in this truck today. But like, you have your work boots and you have your fucking lunch pail. Why can you not have your safety vest and your hard hat? Like, where's the disconnect here? where those things don't make it to all the other sites.
Most of the residential jobs, I think we still wear vests.
Yeah, I try like safety shirts are
Yeah,
the
that's
new norm for us. Like I think NDL safety shirts, like nobody has a problem in a safety shirt, but try and get them to wear vests. Nobody wants to wear a goddamn vest.
I like wearing a vest. It gives me an extra set of pockets that don't weigh my pants down and pull them down from my waist.
I like the safety shirts because they have a breast pocket. And when I'm driving, I can flip my phone upside down so that the speaker's pointing up and talk to it hands free. Right? Whenever I'm in like the dump truck or something that I can't.
I have a
Don't
headset.
have Bluetooth. Yeah, I don't have headset.
I ordered it from Amazon for like $14. It's awesome.
Yeah. I would get out of the truck still wearing it and go to talk to people still wearing the goddamn headset and then
I do
get
that.
pissed off and throw it across the job or something.
I don't get pissed off and throw it, but I do get out of the truck all the time. And mine has like you can move the microphone out of the way.
Oh, like
I
this,
get,
yeah.
I spin it up and then I get it out of the way and then I yell at someone, then I spin it back down when I'm.
Oh,
And
nice.
sometimes I forget to put it down, and if I'm driving, I'm talking. They're like, "I can't hear you." I'm like, "Oh, stupid fucking microphone!" And I'm flipping it down, and yeah, yeah. The that job's going. Knock on wood. It's going. It's going pretty good for us. It's been a pretty smooth. We got the boys got the planter built. We got the guys from DPR helping us out. Jordan and Derek and Jordan's dad Dave has a lot of crane experience. He was a sign guy before he worked with Jordan and Derek, so he's been in charge of the crane lifts, which has been great.
Nice.
Knows what the fuck's going on, as the rest of us don't, and it's in downtown Toronto. I hadn't really thought about this at all, but I had Josh Sutton message me on Instagram, and he's like, all these guys put up these videos of them lifting pools over houses in suburban neighborhoods and think they're fucking badasses, and you're in the middle of downtown Toronto swinging skids in between skyscrapers with the whole road blocked off. And I hadn't really thought about it like that, but I guess that's true. I guess
The joy of commercial landscaping is being able to do shit like that. That's one of my biggest draws, is doing the shit that generally you wouldn't have the chance to do if you were a residential landscaper.
Yeah, this is the planter up there was 13 skids of metal pieces that all had to get bolted together. There's benches. Nice. Yeah, it's
nice.
I actually haven't been down. The guys they got it done ahead of schedule, so I didn't make it down there. I think the granite, it's 2-inch thick granite. I think that's going to be, we pre-cut as much as we could in the yard today, so that when it gets lifted up there, we're not cutting as much up there, because obviously it's easier to cut it in the yard.
Do you have to cut wet up there?
They want us to, yeah, but they're also making it a real bitch to get water.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I was talking to Jordan about it today, and I basically was like, if they don't have the water source readily available for us, I do have the sprayers that we spray the windshield washer fluid in the dump trucks whenever it doesn't snow. But we could spray water to keep the dust down. But I said to him, if push comes to shove, maybe we'll try to cut as much as we can, as fast as we can, and fucking hopefully the wind is blowing. If the wind is blowing up, it won't affect anyone on the street.
If the wind is blowing up the skyscraper?
Yeah, it blows up the sky. Well, I did that. We did a job 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. That was a long time ago, maybe 5 years ago now. And we were repairing a bunch of pavers on people's balconies in this luxury condo. And nice work, Mike. We were repairing these luxury condo balconies, and they wouldn't let us cut on the balconies, obviously, because they're right beside the luxury condos, and they're also filled with these people's furniture. So we took the pavers up to the roof, and then I cut them on the roof. And the only people that could see the dust and see me cutting was the other landscapers cutting on the roof 4 buildings over.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I have pictures. They're way back on my Instagram, but I have a video and pictures of me cutting on the roof because then the dust just went away. No one gave a shit.
The dust went away.
But this is on the 3rd floor. So if the wind is right, it could easily suck the dust down and it would go into the building, like in through the main door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be bad.
I've also, I don't remember where it was, but we were cutting on a roof another time, and the intakes were sucking all the dust into the building
Oh,
on the roof and then dispersing it indoors. So that was that was like 20 years ago. I think that was a long time ago, but I remember getting in a fuck ton of shit for that. But,
a
so-
buddy of mine, he asked to borrow my quick cut one time, and he's not a landscaper, and I'm pretty sure I did his landscape, so he didn't have to do any brick cutting. I'm like, what do you need the quick cut for? He's like, oh, I got to put a toilet in my basement. I have to cut out the floor. I said, I don't think that's the right thing to do, but sure, you can borrow it. And he borrowed the quick cut, and he fucking lit it up in the basement,
oh my god.
and it went through all of his heating vents and
Oh,
fucking peppered his whole house. And his wife fucking freaked out. She was cleaning for a month after.
Oh, I bet.
Like-
I can't fathom starting a quick cut inside a house.
No, it was terrible. So, yeah, he got in trouble for that. And then he's like, we just rented a jackhammer after that. Like, I think that's what they do.
I think I've seen Toolaholic use a demo saw in
Yeah,
his
wet-
stores, but it's battery powered
Well, it's wet cut too.
and it's wet cut.
Yeah. They cut the floor out of my house 2 days ago. Like just the lines and stuff, but I went in the basement, like, why is it wet down here? Like, oh yeah, they had to cut the floor.
They kept
So-
the dust. Yeah.
Kept the dust down.
The one time we were building a home show booth at the National Home Show for Block Techo. And normally a lot of those booths, when you build the big booths, they pre-cut it all.
Hmm.
And then they ship it, and it's all, each piece is identified by a number, and then you have a drawing and you just rebuild it, right? It's super organized, but there's always inevitably with any like hardscape project, you have to cut something. It's just some piece breaks, you got to recut it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I remember going up to like the security in the like in where they have that National Home Show, which is like the Enercare Center by the exhibition place in Toronto, and going up to security and saying, where can we cut? And the guy, like, I'll just cut it here. I don't care. I was like, it's going to be like super dusty, right? Like no, that's fine. No one gives a shit. It's just, the show's not I was like, are you sure, bro? Like, yeah, go ahead and cut it. It's fine. So I went over and crew of guys, and guy says we can just put a skid down and cut here. They're like, I don't think that's right. I'm like, oh, that's what Buddy said. So go for it. So we put the skid down, started cutting. 5 seconds later, oh, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I asked you about this, dude. You can't do that in here. I didn't know what you were going to be doing. I'm like, I literally said we're cutting those, and it's going to be dusty. I guess maybe he thought it was like wood, and it was going to be like sawdust or something. I don't know.
The general public has no fucking clue
Yeah,
what it's like to do what we do.
that is true.
He was not into it once we fired up the saws. So I bought 2 granite blades today.
Oh,
Well, I got to do that. No, I got to buy tile blades.
porcelain.
Yeah, our porcelain's on a boat right now, on its way from
Italy.
India, I think, or somewhere.
Is it reinforced?
Is the boat reinforced or the tile?
No, the tile. Well, that's what happened. That's what happened with our tile, right? The pieces were so big that they needed reinforcement.
Ours go right on HPB.
Oh, then it doesn't matter.
Equivalent. So yeah, it doesn't matter.
You're not.
Which I've heard mixed things about putting tile right on HPB.
Have you?
Like, yeah, people have told me it slides around.
I wonder if they use the spacers.
But wouldn't you obviously there's going to be space in them, right? But it's only what, 1/8 of an inch or something.
Yeah, but if
Well,
you
it's
use the
whatever.
spacers, it should technically lock them in
Okay, yeah.
because they get placed underneath, right? So
So are they
they get locked in.
proprietary spacers or are they like generic?
So not you know what the spacers that I'm talking about, right? They're circular. And they just go underneath.
Like it.
Yeah. So I think I know that one polymeric sand company that we don't talk about has their own.
Yeah,
I know
work good.
a bunch of people have their own spacers.
They work good with foam. Getting a foam base.
So, funny enough, I have 2 giant pallets of gently used synthetic base from that same job.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
now been pulled up. Like
I
I
saw
gotta
that.
sell it or reuse it or something.
Why did you have
I
to
don't know
pull
how,
it up?
because it's no longer going on. It was that binary job that I did, black and white rectangles all stacked up and down, if you remember that one at all. But that was interlock. We're taking that up and putting down porcelain tile
Why?
because he just put a pool and he doesn't love the binary. He always knew he wanted to do something more. Like this is I don't know, $500,000 backyard compared to like a $20,000 brick job from before, right? So
Right.
it's definitely an upgrade. But now we got to do something with all this gator base, and I don't know.
Why don't you just put it back down and put the tile on it?
No, because there's flex in that gator base, right?
But this
tile
whole, I don't know. There's whole,
doesn't flex.
don't they promote it as a system?
No, I don't think so.
I think
They have like a whole
do.
tile system for it.
And that's where the spacers
With
come into play.
Gatorbase?
Yeah, with Gatorbase.
I don't know if I'd trust it. I feel like just walking on Gatorbase, there's too much play, and that tile is unforgiving, especially at 3-foot pieces.
I agree. I wouldn't use Gatorbase for it either.
The client's already not stoked on how the Gatorbase performed or how the resin performed on that job in the first place. So I'm not going to try and rehash that idea to him second time around.
So, is that the job you did, like just where you had problems with the resin?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and actually I went with another landscaper and a 30-year veteran of hardscape installs, and we sat under the fan and we looked at the fucking crop circle right under the fan where the resin had been worn out.
Oh.
And none of us could figure it out between 4 construction professionals. Like, well, why did this happen?
What fan?
They had a ceiling fan on the outdoors, and there's a crop circle of fucking non-existent resin where the resin should have been. So
do you think the fan didn't let
mystery?
Well, it should harden more because there'd be more air going to it.
Yeah, I don't.
You would think so.
It was a mystery, and maybe if the rep would have came out, we would have got some answers. But he never showed up after a couple times of asking him. So
shots fired.
Well, no, it's just what it is. I mean, maybe he had better things to do. Maybe we're not important enough. Who knows?
Okay.
But
well, we know you're not important enough.
Well, that's fine. I don't pretend to be all that important of a guy, you know.
Maybe Cornwall was too far.
Maybe, but I'm assuming somewhere somebody has Cornwall in their management territory, right? So someone has to deal with my shit.
So what are you going to do with your skids of base gator?
I don't know. I don't know how hard it's going to be to, like, if you were a client, would you want secondhand gator base?
I could care less.
Really?
I would. Why would you even tell them?
At some point, they're going to come home, and the patio is not going to be 100% laid. And I'm a big fan of transparency, right? Like, I'm not here to pull fucking the wool over anyone's eyes or try and sell them something.
You're not doing. I'm not saying you pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I'm saying, just say I'm using a synthetic foam.
That's worn. Like what?
Well, how is it worn? Like what's worn?
I can see it being warped and stuff. And
yeah, maybe like the corners are dog-eared and there's still resin on it and shit like that. If someone were building your home and they came up with concrete floorboards and started fucking building your walls, would you have an issue with that? Because I would be a little offended about that.
If I agreed to it, I wouldn't.
No, correct. That's what I mean. You have to be transparent with them.
I would just say to them that I want to build this patio with synthetic foam. This is how much it costs you to build it with brand new synthetic foam. This is how much it costs you to build it with slightly used synthetic foam.
Yeah, that would be the conversation. Absolutely.
I'm not saying you need to lie to them. I'm saying I don't know why someone would care. It's all just going to be in the ground anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose if it's warranted the same, there should be no issues. But
Although, from your general experience with this earlier, I don't know why you would want to reuse it in another job.
um, I haven't always had bad experience with this stuff, and for the most part, it was fine, right? Like it's not that it's not a good product; it's that there were some issues with it in
In the
in an
application that
application with the resin that I would not do again. So I would put it with a traditional sand or whatever and hope for the best, and I'm sure it would be fine then. But yeah. Yeah. So time will
I
tell. But another thing on this job is, you know those fucking motorized pool covers?
yeah,
Has anyone in the history of fucking landscape figured out how to do those things without having them look like dog shit over the cover? Because they never look right.
I've never done one, so
No, me neither.
Everybody's all goo over this fucking rollout cover, and then when it comes time to landscape up to it, and you're like, this coping's not going to sit exactly perfect, and you won't be able to glue it, and no one will be able to step on it, and you'll have to remove these tiles and the chip underneath it whenever you have to access it. People are like, what the fuck? This is so stupid. I'm like, yeah, it is. And they have this stupid, silly fucking vinyl cover that you can put on it, but it looks like the side of a fucking shed. Like, they're like, ew, I don't want that either. I'm like, well, our hands are tied here. We only have so many options, and none of them look good.
Interesting. I thought a
Yeah.
beam went across and the coping got adhered to that beam.
So they have brackets that get
Yeah.
screwed into the concrete and
Right.
cantilever over, right? Um, we've done that before, and then we've taken a giant sheet of stainless steel, like 3/16 or 1/8 or whatever, and we put that down, and then you put your coping on that, but it's still not perfect. And if you glue them, you have to anticipate that they have to come off at some point if you ever have to service that cover, right?
Right.
And then so you're taking up the coping, you're taking up the stainless steel sheet, and you're taking up the pavers behind it so that you can access that whole thing, all without getting your base material into that roll off cover while it's rolled up,
Right.
right? Like it's not ideal by any means
Hmm.
from how we've done it. But maybe we're doing it wrong. Maybe we're the fuck ups.
so I've worked around those covers before, but they weren't power.
Yeah, these are power ones.
They were just in the ground. So I think you reach it and you lift it and you just pull it across the pool and put
Yeah,
it down.
I would
And
be
they're
more
usually
inclined to do that.
they're in like a they're in the roll
Hmm.
and then they get cemented in. And then we just cut, like, we didn't do that, the pool company did. And then we just cut around it. But I've probably done 3 pools with those kind of covers. But I've never had it. Well, I don't know how they look when they go out because I'm never there when people cover the pool.
It's just like a wet towel in your pool. It's not tight or anything like that. If water
Yeah.
gets on top of it, you have to put a fucking submersible pump on the top and pump it out.
Oh.
Like it's not a, a system that will leave you with no problems either. Unless I'm only talking about the ones around here. Maybe someone out there has got another system that's
I've
nice
seen
and
ones that
tight
people
and
can like drive a UTV on top of.
oh, those are different though,
Oh, okay.
right? Those aren't the roll-on systems. Those are the
those are the
elephant covers.
permanent winter cover.
Yeah, those like they get attached by springs and they're custom fit and shit, and those go
No, I've
like,
seen them like roll out, like the
oh yeah,
automatic pool cover. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
well, not the ones we have around here. So maybe we're
Oh.
just well, here like in Cornwall anyway. Maybe you Toronto guys have better pool
I've
covers than
seen
us.
them on
But
Instagram. I can't say I've seen them around here.
well, the search continues on my end for a way to do this system that's not a complete shit show. We're gonna try composite decking this time. So
Nice.
What is that going to do?
we'll just make a lid out of it, right? That you
Yeah.
can fold
Accessible.
back or something and expose the whole system instead of having interlock that you have to pick up and chip that you have to scrape back and tiles that you have to remove. It may
Yeah.
make it easier. It doesn't hurt that the client is a big time construction guy, so that'll be nothing for him to fab. Time
Nothing.
will tell. Nothing.
Fab it.
Weekend project, just like you grading your own backyard.
Oh,
Nothing
my
for you to
backyard
handle.
was a fuck show.
It was, or it is.
My backyard was the worst project I ever did in my whole
Yeah,
life.
but if you had to do it, you
I did
could.
have to do it, or I was going to be divorced. Still was fucked.
PK, you built a retaining wall around your above ground pool?
Part of it, yeah.
Okay. So
So-
the actual retaining wall goes around the pool and then you backfilled against that retaining wall to build a patio.
So the retaining wall is touching the pool.
Okay.
Not touching it, but it's close.
Yeah.
Except the pool's an oval and the retaining wall is a bitch to cut it all. So we just squared it off. And then right in the corner where you can't, basically one side of the wall is in an L shape for an elevated patio, that when you come out of our back door, and then there's 3 stairs down to the patio height. And then you can literally just walk into the above ground pool.
Hmm.
And then our backyard slopes so severely that the pool is set down. When the pool's like 5 feet deep or 4, I don't know. I think it's 5 feet deep. And so the wall comes up 5 feet and is level with the height of the pool. So that then there's a set of stairs to a ladder that goes into the pool. So when you're sitting on the patio, the pool looks like it's in the ground, basically.
Yeah, I went to a consultation last year and the guy had a deck around his above ground pool.
Yeah.
And he wanted to turn it into a paver patio, a stone patio, whatever. And like the only way I could figure that out is to do like an entire retaining wall, but it was like an oddly shaped pool. So like the amount of costs for that was astronomical. It didn't even make sense to do.
It'd be better to build a composite deck.
Yeah, it'd be better just to take out that entire pool and do a pool from scratch, right?
Yeah. So when we bought the above ground pool, I knew that the grade at the back of our yard was like 5 feet lower than the grade at the house. So I did dig out, like carried the height from the back all the way to back fence all the way, so that when they built the pool, and then we built the wall around the pool afterwards, so we had the right heights. But yeah, I mean, it's actually the backyard's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty neat that it seems like an in-ground pool, but it's an above-ground pool,
Right.
which is kind of cool. But that's how we did. Like, and then then we have River Rock in the space between if you wanted to, and it was a client's backyard, we probably would have cut the wall but it's like Oaks Ridge wall, so it's like big pieces. So to cut them into that octagon shape would have been like a lot of like flipping and cutting. And I was like, this project is already massively behind and delayed. So let's just do this and get it over with. So, and then Dave came and put up 2 sections of fence so that what's fucked up though. So because it's all the same height, Kelly, like, we have the new dog who, is like very patrol driven. She's like a guardian livestock dog. So Kelly looks out the backyard and the dog was standing on the pool.
Nice.
The dog just ran out and jumped onto the pool on the ice so she could see over the fence and get a much better control of what was fucking going on. I was like, okay, that needs to get shut down, because one day the dog's going to jump on the pool and go through the ice.
Love it.
Look in the backyard, she's standing out on the fucking ice, like, fucking dog.
Dog.
Both my 16-year-old kids got their G1s today.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah, and then I was going to bring the little car home because they're not allowed to drive the trucks because of the company insurance. So
do you think you could get them in a G1Z?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Well, G1Z these kids.
Yeah.
Get them in a bin truck.
Get that air brake endorsement.
Get an air brake endorsement. I should make them go drive. Get them to drive the bin truck around the yard. I'll get them to drive the little one.
I think if you put them in a big truck now, it'll make them a better car driver forever.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you start them off by overwhelming them and then take them a step back, they'll really feel like they have more control.
I agree. Yeah.
It's because I was terrified as shit the first time I got in a big truck, and by big truck I mean like a heavy single
Yeah.
axle truck, right? Like first time I got in one of these things, I'm like, this is fucking huge. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, and it really wasn't that big at all, right? But I'm still like, I couldn't get in a triaxle with a triaxle float behind it and feel really comfortable either. So
It's never
somewhere in the middle.
that has never bothered me. Like I just from when I got in the first big truck, I just was like, this is super cool. I'm really
It's
pumped
cool,
about
but it's also fucking terrifying to be that high up and going that fast.
Yeah,
If you,
everyone's one of our guys is worried about doing the balcony job. He wanted to know if there was a set of stairs because he doesn't do elevators ever.
well,
And so I at first I was like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, but then I was like, everyone has something
Yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
scared of that's irrational, so, or they're worried about.
He's seen Final Destination too many times.
I have never seen it, but I'm assuming
Okay.
something happens in an elevator.
Something happens in an elevator.
you know what I think you should do? Instead of a video of you craning shit onto the balcony, put your phone on something that's getting craned up.
Ooh.
That
So
would be great content.
I was going to attach my GoPro.
Yeah.
And I took it there, but then it was pouring rain and I couldn't find the thing that I wanted to attach the GoPro to the skid. And it was a whole
tape.
shit show. So this weekend, I will make
Yeah.
a second attempt at GoProing and I will take more time to set it up. And hopefully it looks like the weather might be decent. Because the first time we did craning, it was minus 13. It was 3 degrees, then minus 13, then 3 degrees. This last week when we did craning, it was beautiful, then pouring 40 millimeters of rain, then beautiful. So this week it looks like the craning might actually be just some craning.
You also might have your hands full with exploding pallets.
That is a possibility.
You might have exploding pallet footage this week. So,
although our wonderful supplier although they are the ones that gave us the shit pallets, has said they will let us use their pallet bander. So we're going to ban the fuck out of these motherfuckers.
Is it a hand crank one?
Yeah, hand crank. Yeah. Maybe Mike can come give us some lessons.
I'm sure done a few of those in my time.
It says
whenever I cleaned out my shop, it was full of pallet banding shit. I'm like, who the fuck uses this anymore? Whenever I bought it, there was like skids of like pallet bands and the clips and the whole thing. I'm like, when are we ever going to use this? I'm like, toss the whole thing. Like it was just so much garbage.
Why did you have it?
My old boss ran a landscape company for 30 years. At some point, must have banded some pallets.
He must have been in the pallet banding business.
Yeah, like there was a ton of it. What the fuck? Just so much.
You ever like look around and be like, where did all this shit come from?
Yeah. I try not to be that guy, but we still have tons of shit everywhere.
We have so many tires.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah, it's just like fucking tires everywhere. Like we have a whole sea can full of tires. I'm like, I don't even know what these all are. Like,
I have people drop off their tires. Hey, can you store these here? You got room? Can we leave these here until the winter or till the spring?
And then they never come back
because they never come back.
They sell the car.
It gets to the point that there's 4 different sets of tires and nobody knows which tires are their tires. It's like, are these from my car? Those don't look like my rims. Those are more rusty than the ones that I had. Well, yeah, they sat in a stamp fucking building all winter. Like they're probably still yours.
This is a good life lesson for everybody. This is probably the Caleb's Corner of this week. This is a solid life lesson. If you decide to store your Hyundai Veloster in an old horse barn, when you take your Hyundai Veloster out in the spring, it will, inside the Veloster, will then smell like an old horse barn. So if you are committed to putting your Veloster into a horse barn, be committed to the smell of a horse barn, because I've now been driving the car for the better part of 2 weeks, and the car, and I have many air fresheners in it. Although I didn't go with the black ice, I went with the pine. Maybe if I'd gone with the black ice, it would have gone better. But the car still, periodically, when you open the sunroof or something, you get a good whiff of horse barn.
Yikes.
So, that is the warning from Caleb's Corner this week, is to expect your vehicle to smell like a horse barn if you store it in a horse barn. I don't know why I expected different, but I guess I just did. I thought it would be different, but it's not. So
we got a loader that smells like a barn. It came like, people are telling me it's because a mouse died somewhere in it. They could be right. It smells like someone left a fucking lunch pail or something in there, but we've cleaned it multiple times.
You want to know what probably happened to it?
What happened?
Milk went down the vent.
Milk?
Went down the vent. People are drinking chocolate milk. It spills. It goes down the vent, and then you can never get it out.
Can never get it out. It's a shame. It's a fucking 3-year-old loader. There's like 400 hours on the thing. Reeks every time you get in it. Hey, clean that loader. Yeah, clean it real good. Everything is great. Looks awesome. Spick and span. Get in it. Turn the key. Fucking blast of sour.
I'm telling you, the milk went down the vents.
Yeah, wait, that could be it.
The milk went down the vents. I'm telling you, there's no. You got to use the muriatic acid
down the vents.
Down the vents.
We used to have a boss, and we get in his work truck in the morning, and everybody get in, let's go. And he's one of those guys who, instead of taking like a travel mug, he would take like a regular cup of coffee.
Oh yeah.
Put it in his fucking cup holder.
Fucking love those guys.
Like, and they just fuck off like they never cared about anything in their entire life. They take this coffee mug and put it in their cup holder, and the coffee's sloshing everywhere. The whole truck smells of sour fucking milk. Like, nobody wants to ride with the guy. Because it fucking reeked in his truck.
Why doesn't he get a? Should have just. Well, maybe travel. I don't remember when I was.
I'm telling you, they don't care.
Yeah.
The most careless people. Maybe not careless, but carefree people, if that's not something that bothers them at all.
They love a good mug of coffee.
Yeah.
There's people that love a mug, man.
Big sloshy mug, yeah. I could never. I can't even take an open mug outside, because I feel like it cools off the liquid too much.
Really?
Yeah. That's an indoor hobby, drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee from a mug is indoor only.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Unless you have a travel mug.
Unless you have a travel mug or a proprietary paper cup.
I struggle with forgetting my travel mug in my truck at the end of every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I do.
That's the reason I don't bring a
But for
lunch
you
pail.
guys, you're parking outside, and it's not that. For me, it's 9 floors down in an elevator, walk through a parking garage, grab it, and then back up. So I just say screw it, and then I get like 5 different travel mugs that have been sitting there in my truck.
Yeah.
Have you ever made the walk?
No, no.
Like, is there ever
I'm
been
going there tomorrow, so I might as well get it tomorrow.
And I'll remember my travel mug tomorrow.
Yeah, it's always tomorrow.
Do you ever forget your lunchbox in the truck and then say, fuck it, I'll just buy lunch tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think every landscaper does that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you guys see that I'm on a big health kick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about the health, moving the industry forward with trying to make sure that people are healthy this season in 2024. Yeah.
Get the greens into you.
Get the greens into you. Yeah. Well, do you have to eat it? I thought you just had to wrap it.
Yeah, it didn't look like you ate the lettuce at all.
No, I never ate the lettuce. Yes.
The vitamins soak through, though.
Osmosis.
Yeah.
You know. I was surprised when I wrapped the Red Bull in lettuce. It didn't change the flavor of the Red Bull at all. Like, I thought it would change the flavor, but it didn't. The Red Bull still just tastes the same. I was worried that it would wreck the flavor of the Red Bull. The wrap. That's the marketing. I don't know if we were talking about that last week. We were talking about the marketing thing. This guy was talking about Red Bull and how it's a terrible tasting drink. So they put it in a really small can and charged a shit ton for it to make it exclusive. And that's why it became so successful, because people were like, this stuff tastes terrible, but it's in a small can, so it must be important and it must be super potent. So I'm going to drink it anyways, and I'm willing to pay $4 a can for it, even though when it came out, it was $2.99 when it came out, $3 a can. Like a can of pop was like $1 or 79 cents. People were still buying it. So
I
it was an
remember
interesting thing.
one of their marketing guys said like this stuff tastes like shit. We got to find a way to sell it. So they would go around to like empty garbage cans and just fill them up with empty Red Bull cans till they were like spilling over the
Yeah.
top. And people are like, "Oh, people are buying this shit. It must be good." Then they go and
Wow.
get one, and like they just tried to show that everybody else was drinking it, so they got to be drinking it. So,
Wow.
They do
so,
that in they do that in bars with liquor, right?
yeah.
They'll have people they'll be like, serve this rum on every or whatever
Yeah.
to every drink. Maybe that's what I should do. I'm trying to stimulate more leads. I'm going to start just dumping loads of cut pavers in on the road in front of people's houses. And maybe they'll look at that and they will say, "Oh, that's so we're pricing this like it's 33 meters long, 1 foot thick. There's 1.6 meters above ground and 1 meter below ground. So it's 2.6 meters tall. Concrete wall to demo it. So part of the wall is staying. We have to demo part of it. So my initial thought was we'll get a concrete cutting guy to come down and cut the wall, because I don't know if it's full of rebar or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
those concrete cutting guys can cut something that's more than 1 foot thick, right?
Yeah.
So they could literally just cut it into strips. So I figured if we cut it, the length of it into 18-inch strips, every 18 inches we cut it, then we could grab it in theory and like snap it off, right?
Yeah.
That's because they'd all become individual strips. So how much do you think it costs to cut 33 meters of wall every 18 inches a foot thick, like cut through it a foot thick? Like
Say
it was a lot more than I thought it would be, for the record.
$8,000.
Not close. Still
Not close.
not even fucking close. If you were to times that number by 3, you're still not very close.
Really?
$29,000.
Wow.
I was like,
Why don't you get a fucking hammer on a shovel?
Well, partially because where we're doing this, there's a lot of neighbors that are pissed off this is happening. So I thought a concrete cutting thing with water on it would cause a lot less chaos than a breaker going off at 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. Because if there is a lot of because this wall is literally it is a real retaining wall, so I'm sure it's full of fucking some kind of shitty rebar. So I honestly thought it would be like between 5 and 10 grand, just like you did. And I was like, okay, if this guy can come down and do this in a day for 5 to 10 grand, it's going to make it so much easier for us.
Yeah.
And so much faster. And it'll be so much less intrusive to the neighborhood. Because we also have to dig. There's 3 lots that we have to, we're not digging the basements, but we're bringing the lots to grade so they can dig the basements. So we also have to haul about 40 loads of dirt out of this place. So like we're going to be there for a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Like it's going to be a lot of chaos for the neighborhood. So I just thought, well, this will be easier, but not $29,000 easier.
You are better off to get a shovel in there with a hammer on it and hire a police officer to stand there while you break that concrete and deal with the pissed off homeowners.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I would do. You would have a nice guy there to smooth things over. He's a cop, so no one's gonna fucking yell at him. Be like, hey, they're just doing their job. It's all good. They'll be done in a couple days. Go get yourself a coffee. Like
the thing I don't understand. I mean, it is Toronto where they don't like change, but this is like a dirty vacant lot. Like, why would the people living this? Like, I get it's inconveniencing their lives that the construction process is about to start. I totally get. Like, I understand. they've been pulling cable on our or fiber optics or whatever the fuck they're doing on our street. It's inconvenient to have the trucks everywhere. It sucks. It sucks. But there is an end to it. And when it's over, you won't be living beside a dirty vacant lot full of garbage anymore. Like it seems to me like if it was me there, I'd be like, good, get rid of this shitty wall that's falling apart and let's get some decent looking houses in here. And let's get rid of this dirty vacant lot that's probably full of raccoons.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There was a video that came on my TikTok from Toronto, and someone let a raccoon into a McDonald's at lunchtime.
Nice.
This raccoon was just like wandering around, taking people's burgers, and
that's great.
Did I tell you about the time that I had a raccoon on my job site?
No.
There's pictures of it, of us grading with the raccoon. This little raccoon, he was maybe, I don't know, football size. His name was Bandit. The homeowners, apparently you can keep a raccoon until the second frost. And after that, you got to let them go or else they turn fucking crazy and they'll eat you. But that's the story about having a raccoon. Anyway, he was.
You mean like the second year of frost or just the second frost?
The second frost of the year.
Okay.
Right. So they have the babies in the spring or the midsummer or whatever. Then they mature. By second frost, you got to let them go or else they'll start tearing you apart.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, but we were grading the base for this guy's wall, and Bandit, the little raccoon, comes running over, and he's like, "Oh, cute little thing," and he got on the level. Like, there's a picture of me with the level, and he's right in between my hands. I'll find it. It's on my Instagram somewhere, and we were just fucking around with this raccoon. Anyway, the Bobcat sales guy shows up because he was dropping off a little E32 or something that we were going to use to put in these big Rosetta wall, sort of like the wall that Caleb's building right now, right? We had a shovel to lift these things into place, and he saw the raccoon, and he ran 100 feet from where he dropped off the shovel to his car at the road or his truck at the road, and he wouldn't get off the trailer. He was scared of the fucking baby raccoon.
No kidding.
Terrified of the thing. He's like, no, I can't go near that thing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Really?
Like, yeah.
That's funny.
So terrified of the little raccoon. Little
maybe he has a bad raccoon experience.
Well, you said everybody's got something, right?
Yeah.
Some guys it's heights, some people it's raccoons, it's baby raccoons.
I'm horrified of the space between the dock and a boat.
I saw a video about that today. There's like someone's grandma wanted to be the first person on the boat. So like they were helping her on, but instead of taking the step onto the boat, she just fucking dive bombs right in between the boat and the dock.
Yeah, that's the scariest shit ever to me. It's really fucking paralyzing. Yeah. I just look at that space and I'm like, man, if I fell in there, I'm fat. I'd get like wedged in there or something, or nice. I'm not scared of a lot of shit. That fucking
really?
Yeah, I remember when I was maybe like 16, 17, I was doing a watering job and I had to find water somewhere because that was, back then they were just like, go get the water from somewhere.
Go get the water, yeah.
And so I was working in Toronto, so I went down to the pier and I was throwing the pump into the between the boat and the pier, some like one of these like Great Lakes freighters or whatever. And I was confident that's not what you're supposed to be doing. But at the time, when you're 16 or 17, you're just like, whatever, this is what I'm doing today. But I remember being so scared when I was pulling out, and then the people on the boat started screaming at me. But then I started thinking I was going to get like shanghaied and I was going to get like dragged on the boat. Then the boat was going to leave for Asia and they were going to be like, you work here now.
Mike, this sex traffic.
I don't think they were going to sex. I mean, come on. I'm fat now. I was like 400 pounds then. I don't know if they were going to I think they just looked at me and be like, we don't have to feed this guy for a long time. And he can be on our boat doing like whatever shit we need done on a boat. And I remember that whole day being like, man, first of all, I'm scared of this space between this dock and this boat, like horrified of it, but I have to pump the water out of there. And I'm worried that these guys are going to come off the boat. They were screaming at me in some foreign language, like Eastern European foreign language. And I was like, I'm surprised I didn't end up in Ukraine.
Were they catcalling you?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were.
Pussy,
Yeah,
pussy.
look at that guy scared to his face. They're climbing down there and just jumping right in there and saying it's safe in here. It was fucked up, man. Landscaping.
Yeah.
It was
Stories
fun.
you don't get from residential landscaping.
Yeah.
No.
When has your residential landscape boss ever told you to get water from the river?
Never, not There's never been a time on a residential job where I was like, I'm worried about getting Shanghai. Not one time. And part of it comes from when I was a kid, like a little kid, like this is like 4 or 5 years old. My parents used to read me this story called Shaggy Fur Face. And it's a story of a dog that gets shanghaied and then travels all over the world and then ends up back at the port. I don't even remember how I don't remember the exact ending of Shaggy Fur Face, but I think he gets reunited at the end when he's old. It's about a dog getting shanghaied, getting old, and then getting released back to the little girl who's now a grown woman or something. I think that's the premise of the story. It's kind of horrifying if you think about it when you're a kid, that Shaggy Fur, like, and then I'm down there. I mean, I'm 16, 17. I'm obviously, but then I'm just looking at it going, I'm going to get fucking shanghaied by these fuckers. And then someday someone's going to remember me when I get back to this port of Toronto.
I see Shaggy's fur face here.
Yeah, I pulled it up too.
It's legit. It's a legit book about a Shanghai dog. Like,
oh my goodness.
Start reading it to your kid, Chad.
Shaggy Fur Face.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's gonna get the same complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be yelling at her to go fill up the water truck. She'll be like, "Okay, and I'm terrified. You're gonna take me away."
I can't do that. I'm terrified.
Terrified.
Yeah. Fuck. Shaggy Fur Face. What were there any questions, Mike?
Yeah, we got tons of questions if you guys want to get to those.
Fire
away. All right, we got lots of really.
Yeah, we got like a full episode's worth.